questions, and we'll start with the staff first. So maybe we can try and go alphabetically here on staff or whatever works. So go ahead and introduce yourselves.
I'll start off. It's not outside alphabetical order. Pierre
Okay.
Holloman, Assistant Transit Chief, and I'll just go down the list. Our next person is Clinton Edwards.
Good evening, everyone. Clinton Edwards, Transit Services Manager.
Okay.
Diana.
Good evening, Diana Isaza, Project Manager with the Transit Bureau.
All right.
Diane.
Good evening, Diane Trent, Bus Stop Manager, DS Transit Bureau.
Okay.
Edwin.
Yes, good evening, everybody. My name is Edwin, and I'm a project manager with Transit Bureau.
All right.
Next.
Good evening, everyone. Getting Sevilla, Project Manager with Transit Bureau.
Kirk.
Good evening. I'm Kirk Dand, the WMATA Service Coordinator for Arlington County.
Lauren.
Lauren Breyer, Transit Service Analyst.
Lynn.
Lynn Rivers, Transit Chief, and Happy New Year to everyone.
Thank you. Same to you.
Paul.
Good evening, Paul Mounier, Service Planner for our Transit Bureau.
Ritesh.
Good evening, everyone. Ritesh Parikh, Project Manager with Transit Bureau.
Okay.
Robin.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Robin McElhenney. I'm the Transit Capital Program Manager.
Okay.
Rocco.
Good evening, everyone. Rocco Visconti, Management Intern for Arlington Transit.
All right.
Ryan.
Good evening, Ryan Jones, Transit Asset Manager for Arlington Transit.
Okay.
Stephen.
Good evening. This is Stephen Frazier, Transit Marketing and Community Outreach Manager.
Okay. And Tim.
Hello, everyone. Tim Brule with Transit Bureau. I'm Project Manager.
And Mr. Chair, that's all the staff that's present.
Okay, great. We got quite a turnout from the staff tonight. How about the committee members? I'll start first. My name's John Carton. I'm chair of the committee.
Alexa Mavrodis, member. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, James.
This is James Davenport, Vice Chair of the committee.
All right. All right.
Alexa Mavrodis, member of the committee and chair of the accessibility subcommittee.
Okay.
Herschel Cantor, member of the Transit Committee and the Accessible Subcommittee.
All right. Thanks, sir.
David Sisson, TAC member.
All right.
Alex Kumana, TAC member.
All right, Alex. Any other TAC members? Okay. Pierre, are we at a quorum yet?
We are still too short of a quorum.
Okay. All right. Well, with that in mind, let's go ahead and start with public comment. So we invite members of the public to come and speak here at the beginning of the meeting. I'll just remind the members that we try and limit it to 2 minutes per speaker because we've got a full agenda that we need to cover. So we can't allocate too much time to the public comment, but we do want to speak with anyone here that would like to speak this evening. So members of the public that would like to speak?
Mr. Carton, I would like to speak.
Okay, is that Roseanne?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
Roseanne
good.
Ashby. Yeah, thank you very much. I'll be very brief. I am blind. I'm a STAR user. I also use Metrobus, ART buses when in familiar areas and where I can cross the streets, and I use Metro Rail. I've been on this committee, in fact, a number of years ago. But anyway, I wanted to commend you for your proposed business rules for the accessibility subcommittee. Many of us in the disability community want to see this subcommittee strengthened. We want it to be representative of a wide variety of folks with disabilities. We think that will help the subcommittee be effective and representative of our needs. So I do want to thank you for those of you who worked on those proposed business rules, and I'm sorry you don't have a quorum because I was hoping that they would be passed tonight. But thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. All right, any other comments from the public? Okay, if not, Pierre, how are we doing on our quorum?
We are still too short.
Okay, okay. All right, so with that in mind, let's go ahead and we'll skip the minutes for now, approving those, but we'll discuss the draft business rules for the accessibility subcommittee. So since December, we've been working hard on this. Pierre and others have been working with the staff on this, and actually, Pierre, I guess we can't consider a motion until we have a quorum, but we can at least describe what we plan to do with these. Now, I'll just remind folks that we did send these out to you ahead of time, which is an agenda item which was called Review and Approval of Draft Business Rules from the TAC Accessibility Subcommittee. We had some discussion about this at our last meeting, and so that encouraged us to go ahead and move forward with these. The staff has drafted these up. The vice chair and the chair of this accessibility subcommittee and myself, we've all reviewed these and feel that it's the right thing to do. But I just want to entertain any questions that people might have on these rules, or any comments they might have. Herschel, how about you as a member of the subcommittee? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, the only thing that came up in our meeting today was, and I don't have the wording in front of me, but where it says that the person can be and this was because somebody outside brought it up, but can be dismissed, that the words like "for cause" ought to be inserted. That sort of to make it sound less arbitrary. I'm not sure where that is. I don't have it in front of me. You can get to where it says that the chair can dismiss anybody, or somebody from the subcommittee. You could get that on the screen.
Okay.
Let's see. Where is that? Let's see.
It's in the second bullet.
Serve at the pleasure of and can be removed from the subcommittee by the TAC chair.
just add the suggestion, or my suggestion to treat the point that was raised is just to add the words "for cause," which is implied, I guess, but at the end of the sentence.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
I know you were planning to be arbitrary, but
any other comments, Herschel?
no, I don't have any other.
Okay. How about you, Alexa?
I thought it looked good. I hope we can get up to 7 members. That was one thing that was kind of mentioned at the meeting as well, that we have not had the greatest attendance. I'm okay with the proposed change to the text, but I do think, some of us were wondering if, the struggles with attendance were perhaps part of why that was worded in there the way that it was, but I think the amendment works too.
Okay. All right. Any other comments from folks about these?
Just that I was glad to hear that most of the comments from the community seem to be positive. I was glad to see that, that this could be perhaps a step forward.
Right, right. It certainly gives an opportunity for more people to participate in this important area of the committee. Okay, any other comments?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
are you calling for public comment?
We've already had public comment. Did you just join the meeting?
Sorry.
Did you just join the meeting?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we can take a minute out here and let you talk. I'll let you know that first of all, we'd like you to identify yourself and let you know that in view of our busy schedule, the comments are limited to 2 minutes.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Doris Ray. I work at the Independence Center of Northern Virginia and as Director of Advocacy, and I'm also a member of the Arlington County Disability Advisory Commission. I wanted to mention something that is happening right now that I think is extremely important, I would hope, to this committee as well as the Transportation Commission, and that is that we as a region are facing the potential loss of Metro Bus, Metro Rail, and Metro Access services through drastic cuts in their budget. And this will affect bus and rail service and station openings, and if it goes into effect. And it's very important for us as Virginia residents to be in contact with our state legislators right now because there's a need to increase the Northern Virginia Regional Transportation Commission's budget from the state regarding it's a fund for maintenance and operation of all 3 of those services operated by WMATA, and it will affect ART and especially STAR residents and the services that they get if these drastic cuts go into effect. And one thing that could help it is if we could increase the percentage beyond the 3% cap for increases to that fund, and bills are in the General Assembly now, and we should be contacting Arlington and Northern Virginia legislators, particularly on the transportation committees in House and Senate, as well as on the Senate Finance and Appropriations Committee and the House Appropriations Committee and its subcommittee on transportation, to ask them to increase the 3% to whatever is necessary to meet the shortfall in budget for WMATA of $750 million. So the whole region is working on this. Thank you for your support for this. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a very important reminder for all of us, and we will be talking about the deficit update a little bit later on in the meeting, but thank you for bringing that up. Okay, let's move on here. How's our quorum looking here?
We are still too short.
Okay, all right. Well, let's push ahead here, and we can do our update on the transit capital projects.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Robin McElhenney again, the Transit Capital Program Manager, and I'm going to pull up a presentation and we'll get going. Does everyone see the presentation on my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. I'm going to put it in slideshow mode. And thanks for having us tonight to give you an update on our Transit Capital Program, and we're going to highlight a few of our projects. And for the most part, the project managers are going to be updating you on their projects. I'm going to cover East Falls Church Bus Bay expansion in Ballston West. Connex is on the call tonight, but he is his voice is not holding up due to a virus. So I'm going to stand in for him, but he's here to answer any questions at the end. I think it'd be great if everyone would hold their questions to the end, and then we can just that might be a little more efficient. So Tim is going to start us off with the Crystal City Metro East Entrance project.
Great. Thank you, Robin. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, so last time I met with this group and provided an update on this project, we were well within the 30% design. At this point, we have moved on to the final design and construction. So this is kind of giving you a catch up of what we've been up to, and also kind of setting the expectations for the construction, and also an overview of the design progress or process, that is. So we did finish the 30% design in May of 2023. And then with that completion of the 30% design, JBG Smith and Clark Construction provided the county with a guaranteed maximum price proposal to complete the final design and construct the building on the county's behalf. In July 2023, Arlington County approved the comprehensive agreement with East Entrance LLC, and that is a joint venture between Clark Construction and JBG Smith to perform the final design and construction. That comprehensive agreement defines the terms and conditions of the design build project delivery, and the contract award was $117.2 million. And the total project budget is $141.6 million. In September 2023, so we approved that contract, and we've been working since about August on the final design. In September 2023, the county approved a project coordination agreement with WMATA, and that's a cost estimate of $9.4 million, and it's an estimate because basically just reimbursing the county. The county's reimbursing WMATA for the costs that they incur with supporting the project, and also during design and construction. They have inspectors, escorts. We provide bus bridging between the stations while our station might be down, and also the purchasing of WMATA specific equipment such as fare machines and fare gates. The project coordination agreement also sets the requirements for the project to be designed and constructed in accordance to WMATA's standards and guidelines. And then just recently, in January 2024, the county issued a notice to proceed to Gannett Fleming for construction management and quality assurance services. So they are, in addition to the county team working on, as the owner's representative on the construction project. And that contract was awarded at $8.2 million. Next. Oh, if you go back, that picture there, that's the existing entrance as it more or less is today, and that's the location where the entrance will be. So that's at the northwest and northwest quadrant of the 18th Street South and Crystal Drive intersection. Next. So for an overview of the sort of the final design process, as I mentioned, we started in August of 23. The work is separated into 4 design packages. So design package 1 is the civil enabling work. Design package 2 is the new entrance tie-in into the existing station. Design package 3 is the new entrance structure outside of the existing station. So kind of what you see there on the screen, and then sort of what's underneath it as well. And then design package 4 is the site restoration. There are 3 design review iterations. So that's 60% design, and we're underway and scheduled for completion this winter, 2024. And then we'll be working on the 90%. And this is also currently underway. The design team is working on the civil enabling work of the 90%. And so we'll be completing that in spring of 2024, followed by 100%. And that will be starting in summer 2024 and completion of winter 2025. And then that'll be followed by issued for construction design package. So that'll all be design package 1 will be completed in fall 2024 for package 1, and then winter 2025 for packages 2 and 3, and then followed by package number 4. The design team is working in coordination with the other adjacent county-led projects, including Metro Market Square, which is a public park project being led by the Department of Parks and Recreation. And so if you actually look at the image there on the screen, it's that the area to the right of the station entrance, you could see a tree and some greenery. That is still yet to be designed, but that will be the location of the new Metro Market Square project. And then also the 18th Street South realignment project, which is on the for the other side of this image, behind the station entrance there, and that's sort of a new streetscaping project, new lane markings, bike facilities, etc. on 18th Street South. And if you just look at the image there, that is so that's a new image from the 60% design. As you can see, the entrance is sort of a iconic structure located on hopefully iconic structure, but located on the the 18th Street South and Crystal Drive intersection. Next. So here's another image of the entrance structure. This one is looking north, sort of down north along Crystal Drive. You could just kind of another angle of the structure there. So for the construction, early activities to relocate fiber optic ductwork, bisecting the site will start this month. Actually, next week is what they're scheduled to be doing some work. And so there's existing utilities that are bisecting the site, and so they're going to move those out of the way so that there's a clean area to perform the other work. And that larger construction effort will start in fall of 2024 and is anticipated to last 2.5 years. We are obviously coordinating with WMATA to minimize construction-related impacts to riders and also the public within Crystal City. We anticipate notification to riders and the public on construction status and other mitigation measures to reduce the impacts. And at the end of the process, at the end of the 2.5 years, we anticipate the new station entrance to open in April 2027. If you go to the next slide. Here's just a timeline of kind of where we are. We're kind of at the, if you look at the yellow bar there that says final design 1.5 years, we're sort of at the beginning. We're probably about the middle of the first half of that timeline there. You can see that the final design and construction does overlap. So there'll be sort of that time where we're finishing up the design on some of the latter parts of the construction while the early parts of the construction are getting started.
Okay. Is that it?
Yep, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to suggest that we hold our questions to the end of these presentations so we give the presenters enough time. But so the next one, I guess, is Boston Metro West Entrance.
Actually, next is East Falls Church Bus Bay expansion.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. And this is Robin again. I'm going to give you the overview of this one. So the project scope is, this project is reconstructing the existing bus loop and expanding the capacity of it. And we're doing that by replacing the existing 4 bus bays and shelters and adding 3 new. So it's a total reconstruction and expansion. We're also going to be replacing the signal at the bus loop entrance and exit that's on North Sycamore Street. And the project also includes improvements improvements for pedestrians coming and going from the Metro Park and Ride lot, and improvements to accessible parking access. There's new crosswalks and new ramps. Everything's going to be brought up to ADA compliance. And the project budget is $12.7 million. In the aerial image you see on the right is of the existing bus loop with the 4 bus bays. You're also seeing the Metro Park and Ride lot and I-66 westbound and the actual metro station. So we are in the process, or actually very quickly wrapping up the final 100% design, and we anticipate those plans to be completed by the end of the month. We also expect the engineer of record, who is STV, the architecture and engineering consultant, to sign and seal the 100% design drawings this month. So we've got a lot of upcoming exciting milestones to reach. We're also going to the county board this Saturday, seeking approval for the project coordination agreement with WMATA. WMATA owns the bus loop now. They're going to own it in the future. So we're working very closely with them. And of course, the project coordination agreement lays out roles and responsibilities, estimated project, staff cost for WMATA, et cetera. So with a 100% package and signed and sealed drawings, we'll be able to move forward with a procurement package. So we can issue an invitation to bid in March. And that will tee us up for a notice to proceed in May. And the image you see on the right is the expanded East Falls Church bus loop with the 7 new bus bays and shelters, the 4 layover spaces in the center, relocated ADA parking, which is much closer to the bus loop and to the station. You see new crosswalks and ramps. Here is the project timeline. The bar on the top represents the design phase, which started back in fall of 2021, and we're now in winter of 2024, very close to wrapping it up. The timeline in blue here shows the ITB phase, which is a very short period. This winter is pretty much going to play out over this winter and spring. We're, as I said, teeing up a NTP for spring, and the construction would start and last about a year and a half, wrapping up in fall of 2025. Now we're going to move on to Boston Metro West entrance. This is to design and construct a second entrance at Fairfax Drive and North Vermont Street. The image on the right is an aerial view of the Boston area along Fairfax Drive, and it shows the new entrance at the North Vermont Street and Fairfax Drive location. It's about a quarter of a mile to the west of the existing entrance. The new entrance is going to enhance connectivity within the Boston area. It extends the distance pedestrians can reasonably walk to the station. So kind of it increases kind of the access, definitely the access to the station, and by nearly the quarter of a mile. It provides a new egress path in case the station needs to be evacuated. Right now, everyone would have to go through the one entrance, and now there'll be 2. And also relieve some congestion along the platform because people are coming in from 2 different access points. So they naturally spread along the platform better than they do when you're coming through one entrance. This is a county-led project closely in coordination with WMATA. Of course, they own the station and will continue to do so. So we are working very closely with them. Our currently adopted CIP shows a project budget of $150 million. We are wrapping up the 35% design plans with our A&E consultant STV, and we anticipate completion in the winter-spring of 2024. We have received a draft submittal of the design plans, and the WMATA and the county have provided comments back to the STV, and we are working very closely with WMATA and very hard to close out the comments. It's a very complicated project, and it has, a lot of technical comments that are just taking longer than we would like to wrap up. The image on the right is a plan view of the new entrance. I'm just going to kind of give you a high-level overview of what you're seeing. This is one level down from the street. At street level, you would find 2 elevators and stairs that would bring you down to this mezzanine, where you would have fare gates and the kiosk, and then a passageway that would lead you into the existing station. And in the existing station, there would be a new mezzanine built over the tracks with 4 stairs, 2 in the inbound direction towards the district and 2 in the outbound direction towards, Vienna or Dulles Airport. We also are providing elevators between the passageway level and the platform. There are 2 elevators on the inbound side and 1 elevator on the northbound side, or the outbound side towards Vienna and Dulles. We are starting the procurement process to be able to issue a request for qualifications, followed by a request for proposal. The first step to get the qualifications is to select a small number of firms that have expertise in this type of work, and then we would issue a request for proposal to that shortlisted group of firms. Here is the timeline. We're showing the design, 30%, 5% design to be wrapping up very soon, winter or spring of 24. That would be followed by a procurement phase, which is that RFQ and RFP process, which would last about a year from spring of 24 to spring of 25. We'd be targeting a NTP, notice to proceed, in summer of 2025 to start the design and build phase. And it's about a 4-year process. And that would be wrapping up, opening the station entrance in spring of 2029. And the next steps is pretty much a summary of what I've already gone through. So I won't go through that right now, in the interest of time. Now I'm going to turn the presentation over to Diana, and she's going to brief you on the Shirlington Transit Center expansion.
Good evening. Can you hear me? Is the audio?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Tonight I will be speaking about the Shirlington Transit Center expansion project. This is a new project currently in planning phase. I would like to start providing a project background and the objectives for the project. On the image on the left, we can see there is a picture of the current station. The Shirlington bus station has been operating since 2008 and serves as South Arlington's regional transit hub. The station is located at South Quincy Street, near the intersection of South Randolph Street and 31st Street South, connecting riders to Alexandria, Fairfax County, Metrorail, and VRA stations. Now moving into the objectives, the goals of the project. With this project, we are looking into expanding the station's bus bay capacity for better system integration and to accommodate future service demand, which it is expected to come from the regional BRT on the West End Transitway in Alexandria. We also aim to conduct a comprehensive facility assessment for effective asset management and facility optimization. Next. Now let's talk about the scope of work of the project. We're looking into redeveloping the adjacent parking lot adjacent to the Shirlington bus station. As we can see on the image, that area that I think Robin has pointed out, that's the area we're looking into expanding the station. In 2006, the county purchased that area from a private owner with the idea of expanding the station. This lot has been used as parking spaces from the development across the street. It was part of an agreement during the purchasing, but the agreement expired in April of 2019. So now Transit is looking into the opportunity of redeveloping this parking lot into additional bus bays for the Shirlington extension. Next. Next. Yeah, thank you. This is an overview of the project timeline. As we can see, we're currently on the planning phase. In July of 2023 of last year, we submitted a grant application to MBTA for $11.6 million for the design and construction of the project. We're currently in the process of issuing a task order to our on-call consultant to develop a feasibility study for the station bus bay expansion and the facility assessment. We are currently anticipating that the feasibility study can be completed within 6 months. We're looking at probably by the end of August of this year. And as you can see on the timeline, at this moment, we're anticipating to start the design and construction for the project in sometime between 2028 to 2029, with a project completion in 2031. The gap here between the planning phase and the design phase, it is pending the MBTA application. Since we applied for the grant last year, the next round of funding is on fiscal year 2029. However, we're looking into opportunities to advance the funding earlier if possible, so the gap could be shorter than shown in the graph. It is in our best interest to implement this project sooner. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now Edwin is going to brief you all on where we are with the floating bus stops.
Yes, good evening, everybody. I'll just go ahead and start and provide a quick description and then provide how many we have in design right now. So a floating bus stop island, it's separated from the sidewalk by a channelized or raised or intermediate level bike lane, as you can see on the figure there. These bus stops are designated to channel bikes behind the bus stop and away from the roadway. This eliminates potential mixing zones between cyclists and transit vehicles. It also provides dedicated boarding areas for passengers between the bike lanes and the roadway. Now, for our bus vehicles, it provides a inline bus stop. Now, this eliminates the need for transit vehicles to merge in and out of the traffic lanes, and it minimizes also the amount of core space needed. Now, we have a lot of amenities on these floating bus stop islands. We put shelters, benches, trash bins, and then lately we've been putting safety railings as part of the design to separate bicycles from pedestrians waiting on the floating bus stop. Next line, please. Next slide. Now, the first stop that it's completed, we have it on Wilson Boulevard in North Pierce Street. This was the first in the county, and we've been adding and deleting some stuff as we for the future floating bus stop islands. Now we just there are 3 additional floating bus stop islands that have been completed under Med 36. This is the new Amazon facilities. They provided 3 floating bus stop islands between 15th Street and 12th Street, I believe, on each street. Now, some of the concerns that we've been having is wayfinding for individuals with low vision. We've been adding this into the boarding area. We are working with WMATA on this also. We are working on mitigating the conflict between pedestrians and bicyclists. So, we're working on some audible devices. And all of this is being coordinated with WMATA. And right now, like I said, we have 25 that are in design. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. It's back to me. This slide is just showing the in progress, what's going to be in our FY25 to 34 transit CIP. It is currently in progress, so there's not a lot I can share with you on this except list the projects here. And they include the ART fleet expansion, the ART replacement buses, the ART facilities, the Columbia Pike transit stations, the Pentagon City Metro second elevator, Crystal City East entrance, Boston West entrance, transit extension to Pentagon City, transit way upkeep, East Falls Church Bus Bay expansion, Shirlington Transit Center expansion, transit ITS and security program, courthouse metro elevators, bus stop and accessibility improvements, art fare collection, bus stop and shelter program, mobility hub, and microtransit implementation study. So there's projects everyone's here is familiar with. Most, if not all of them, are in our current CIP. So we can share more information on this at a later meeting, but I just wanted to give you a very quick briefing on where we're headed. This is another quick overview. This time of year, we're always very busy completing grant applications for FY25 DRP funding opportunities. This year, we are seeking nearly $31 million of DRPT grants, and those applications are due by February 1st. So we're rapidly completing them. And when we're successful, hopefully we will be successful in this obtaining this money, the funding would be available July 1st. So we're seeking $13.7 million for art facilities electrification, $4.5 million for art fleet expansion, $10.6 million for art replacement buses, $926,000 for bus stop accessibility improvements, $627,000 for bus stop and shelter state of good repair, and $347,000 for transit signal priority. So this completes our presentation, and we're happy to entertain any questions.
Well, Robin, I have to say, first off, you all must have a huge plate that you put all these projects on.
We do.
There's a lot of projects you're shepherding all at the same time.
Yes, it is. And thank you for acknowledging that.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting and very challenging. And we're glad we have the opportunity to do that.
Good. Well, we appreciate everybody's hard work on it because I know it's a lot of work. I'll make one comment here on the floating bus stops. And I think from a safety point of view, it's really good to see the railings that you have there to keep the pedestrians crossing and the crosswalk so that, you know, they aren't surprised by the bikes and the bikes aren't surprised by people just sort of crossing anywhere along that area. But focusing the pedestrians at one spot, I think, is helpful to everybody. So I'm glad to see that. Questions from other people, other staff, other committee members? Or comments?
Mr. Chair, there is one question in the chat related to East Falls Church. The question is art detouring from East Falls Church when it's constructed? I use the R55 for several times a week and on Saturdays and Sundays. So if Robin, if you quickly can explain the construction sequencing.
There is a very extensive MOT plan, and Connex might be able to say a few more words about how many phases it is, but the buses will not be relocated. The construction will be phased such that the buses still serve the bus loop during construction.
Yeah, currently we are scheduled to have about 5 phases. I'm sorry, 5 phases. And that might change once we have a contractor on board. But every time during each phase, we'll make sure that we have the proper signage to let everyone know where their designated bus bay will be and their bus stop will be. But yes, everything will remain operational during construction in the same area.
Okay. One question I have about East Falls Church is, will this reconfiguring of everything up there, will that impact the number of parking spaces that are there at East Falls Church?
I believe currently we have about a net loss of 1. We definitely, we're lucky, and I think we're have a net loss of 1.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's good. You can squeeze all that in without, you know, taking away parking places, because I know some of those are important to people. Okay. Other questions on these projects? Okay, if not, I want to thank Robin and everybody else that's working hard on these. Yes.
Has there been any like benchmarking? Because some of these projects are big and some have been done like similar projects before. Are most of the costs coming in roughly what other agencies have seen for similar projects?
The cost of, I missed your first part of your question. Did you just, was that?
Oh, sorry. I was just saying that some of these projects like seem similar in scope to other projects that have happened in the area? Like, is there an opportunity to like look at past projects and see if the costs are similar, or like how do we know how these costs are coming in relative to other projects in the area that are similar?
Well, the metro projects are certainly similar in cost to what metro projects cost. They're much higher than a non-metro projects because they're so complex. So those are pretty much on par, but everything else is, costs have gone up so much in the past few years that it's hard to compare unless the projects are concurrent. So I have not really myself, I don't know as for the other projects how closely aligned it is. Maybe Pierre might know with the bus projects, but I don't have that answer off the top of my head for things other than metro projects. But we can look into it and report back on it at another time because it is an interesting question.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if it's required to report, but I was just curious if it just seems like there's an opportunity to look at some of those previous projects.
Yeah, we have with the metros, but I personally haven't with the other bus projects.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for the question.
Okay, Robin, thanks again to you and everybody else working so hard on these projects. So all I can say is keep up the good work.
Well, thank you, and thank you to all the PMs that presented on your projects tonight.
And we'll look forward to visiting some of these during our July 2024 bus trip too.
Absolutely. Progress will definitely have been made by that time for sure.
Good.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Okay, our next item here is data on. Yes, sir.
Mr. Chair, we do have a quorum and we still have 2 action items on the agenda. I just wanted to let you know that we do now have a quorum.
Okay, let's go back then. The first item here is approval of the minutes from the November 14th meeting. Do I hear a motion to approve those?
So moved. This is James.
Is there a second?
I'll second. This is Alexa.
Okay. All right. Having been moved and seconded, is there any discussion on the minutes? If not, all in favor say aye.
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 Any nays? Okay, so the minutes are approved. Second item that we need to approve here is the draft business rules for the TAC Accessibility Subcommittee. We discussed this earlier, and I know we've had a couple of people that have joined the meeting since then to give us a quorum. During our discussion, the only point that came up, and apparently it came up during the subcommittee meeting, was that if somebody's appointed to the subcommittee, if there's a call for them to be removed, it's for a cause for removal. So everybody seemed to be okay with that, just to modify our rules for that. So what I'd like to do is with that change, I'd like to move our adoption of these business rules for the accessibility subcommittee. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All right. So now is there discussion about these proposed rules? Okay, hearing no comments or discussion. I'll call the motion here. All in favor of these draft business rules, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, they pass unanimously. And let me just comment, it sounds like somebody's got they're tuned in twice on 2 different devices, which has given us an echo. So just ask you to check that. Okay, so let's move on to the data on Arlington's transit fall fare-free rush program.
Good evening, Paul Meunier, service planner for Arlington Transit. Will 1 second. Just give an update on the fare-free rush program. This will be very quick. Here is the summary of the data, October through November. We won't have the final December numbers till a little later this month, based on the way WMATA reconciles the ridership from the fare box. But you could see the overall ridership October to November 2022 versus October to November 2023. Overall ridership is up 22.8%. AM and PM peak passenger trips, you can see 107, 398 to 146, 338 is up 36.3%. The growth rate in the peak is about 13.5% higher than the service overall. So we are estimating that about 5,257 trips have been created due to the free fares being offered through this program. And then if we look at the next 4 slides are just a breakdown of all of the ridership. This is route by route ridership overall. You can see the growth in each of the routes. This is for October. Then we can look at the peak, and you can again see that the growth is higher in the peak, pretty much across the board. Increases in ridership for eligible trips. I will point to some of you'll see a negative number at the Virginia Hospital Center. The reason for that is due to the way that service runs. Most of the trips are taken in the opposite direction from what the free fare is. So there isn't an increase in the free fare direction. Again, November, again, you can see the ridership, November 23 versus November 22, and the increase in service is a little less than what we saw in October in overall growth. And then the increase in the fare-free ridership. So there's overall growth. There's we are still growing pretty quickly. Coming out of the pandemic, I think overall for the year, while October and November were a little higher, particularly October had a lot of growth. I think we're trending around 11% increase in overall ridership in the system from July to November this fiscal year. And that is about it. So if there are any questions.
Okay, well, it's great to see that increase there associated with that. And glad that you all did that demonstration project to see what the impact was of offering free fares in the rush direction. So hopefully we've garnered some new riders that are going to stay with us and enjoy the flexibility and all the advantages of riding on ART. Yeah, any other questions or comments on that?
I wondered how this compared with pre-pandemic and whether it's back up where it was before.
We are still down, I think, about 15 to 20% in overall ridership versus the pre-pandemic. But with this growth, which has been consistent over the past 2 years, 2.5 years, we've been trending up at between 11 and about 13 to 14%. I would say in the next year, we would look at probably being back to the levels that we were pre-pandemic. We also, we do have service changes that we have identified in the transit strategic plan that would also help that growth.
I'm not sure this is under your purview, but presumably we're paying close attention to the monumental proposal, the arena.
Yeah, obviously we're very aware of the proposal, and we do have recommendations in the plan that would be connecting Arlington to that area, also with Metroway and Metro Rail as the primary transit pieces there. Following very closely, which will be talked about, I believe, later, some of the cuts that Metro is looking at and what we may need to do to fill in those cuts. But yes, we're very aware of that, and we're paying very close attention.
Okay, great. Thanks, Paul. All right, so let's go to the WMATA deficit update and upcoming rail maintenance projects.
This is Kirk. I'm the WMATA service coordinator, and I'm trying to get my presentation up.
Okay.
Are you able to see my slide?
Yes.
Well, good evening, everyone. After hearing all that great stuff that Paul just put out, I'm going to bring it down a notch. So the FY25 proposed operating budget, excluding reimbursables and debt service, stands at a $1.8 billion deficit, or the budget stands at $1.8 billion. That reflects a 23% decrease from the FY24 budget due to substantial service cuts that are projected. The projections indicate a 23% reduction in passenger revenue to $310.7 million and a 12.2% decrease in non-passenger revenue. Despite these challenges, the budget incorporates the remaining $95 million in federal relief funding available in FY25 and stays within the 3% cap for the jurisdictional subsidy. To address the FY25 operating deficit and fulfill the balanced budget requirement outlined in the WMATA Compact, the FY25 proposed budget utilizes all accessible internal measures to close the $750 million operating deficit. Through robust fiscal management and oversight, Metro has identified a substantial $95 million in one-time savings, surpassing the initial forecast from the approval of the FY24 budget. This enables the extension of federal relief funding into early FY25. Additional savings of $50 million have been realized through reductions in consulting services, digital transformation, enhanced asset management, and administrative efficiencies. Acknowledging the fiscal reality, the FY25 proposed budget implements a freeze on salaries and wages, contributing an additional $38 million in savings on personnel expenses. Due to the anticipated reduction in ridership due to the substantial service cuts, the revenue forecast has been adjusted by $67 million. That, paired with the anticipated rate of inflation, offsets the savings by $59 million. By flexing preventive maintenance costs from operating to capital, another $193 million in savings can be realized. That reduces the $750 million deficit to $433 million. Through service cuts and fare increases, the budget can be balanced. The FY25 proposed budget introduces significant measures to tackle financial challenges, including unprecedented service cuts to Metro Rail and Metro Bus and a universal fare increase. Metro Bus service is set to undergo an approximate 33% reduction, resulting in the elimination of 67 lines and reduced service on 41 lines. Metro Rail service cuts include extending headways, turnbacks on the red line and silver line, closing 10 stations, and a system-wide closing time of 10 p.m. Additionally, Metro Access service will be adjusted to align with the reduced levels of Metro Rail and Metro Bus. The budget also suggests a 20% general increase in fares and parking fees. The Finance Committee authorized the WMATA General Manager's proposed FY25 budget to move forward for full board approval for public comment and public hearings at last Thursday's WMATA board meeting with the following two amendments. Fares. Metro Rail and Metro Bus fares are proposed to increase by 25%, resulting in a Metro Rail fare range from $2.50 for base fare and $7.50 max fare on weekdays. A $2.50 late night and weekend Metro Rail fare and a $2.50 base Metro Bus fare. The Metro Access fare cap is currently twice the base fare. As a result of the proposed base fare change, the Metro Access fare cap would also increase by 25% to $5. And then the second amendment is operating hours. It will read 3A, decrease hours of operations. Close the rail system at 10 p.m. 7 days a week. Or 3B, keep existing rail system hours. Open earlier and close later on weekends. Open the rail system at 6 a.m. on Saturdays and Sundays. Close the rail system at 2 a.m. on Fridays and Saturdays. Dr. Tracy Haddon Lowe, who represents the district, filed both amendments. The GM had proposed a 20% increase on fares and station closures at 10 p.m. 7 days a week. Next Thursday, the WMATA board will take a final vote on this package to go to public comment / hearings. In mid-February, the public comment period will begin and last for approximately 4 weeks. It is anticipated that the board will adopt a balanced budget in April. That concludes my presentation.
Kirk, that's not a very happy presentation.
I didn't like writing it.
I agree. I can appreciate that. Okay, comments on these draconian cuts? Okay, well, I'll just say we really should talk to our state and local and national legislative people, just underline the importance of funding for Metro to keep it running as a viable system with viable frequencies and service levels and everything else. It's really important.
I guess, are all three jurisdictions looking at possibilities of additional contributions?
Yes, the districts, Maryland and Virginia are all working. We're working towards trying to find ways to pay an increase. Could you mute yourself? We're working in ways to find funding to be able to pay a higher subsidy. The problem is with the 3% cap, if WMATA gives us a bill that is more than a 3% growth for the entire jurisdiction, our jurisdiction being Virginia, then 35% of the state aid is penalized against the local jurisdictions. So if we pay the bill currently, the way the legislation is written, then we would end up getting less money. So it's just an Ouroboros type of thing where, the head's eating the tail. So we're working to try to get legislation in alls we can do on the Virginia side is look to our Virginia General Assembly. But in Maryland and DC, they're working on it. And I can tell you that this Friday, we'll be spending the day at WMATA HQ going over the budget and the subsidies and stuff. And that's staff from all the local and state jurisdiction working on it. It's been all budget all the time for almost all of the WMATA staff members and the local jurisdictions who represent the transit agencies.
Yeah, it's understandable. Kirk, I got a question for you, and that is the salary freeze, would that apply to management and labor?
It's everybody.
Okay.
It includes management, it includes labor, but more importantly, the amount of layoffs. We have to keep in mind, that 70% of the approximately 70% of the operating costs is due to labor. But each one of those people are human beings who live in our general area and shop at our stores and keep the economy going. And when you look at from the, yes, we need to cut costs, but we also need to be human and think of our brothers. So
Exactly.
It's a tough situation all around.
Right. Another point there is that when you cut people suddenly, people leave, and then if you get the money to come back and add service, you can't always get the same qualified, skilled people back that you cut. Mechanical, all sorts of other skills that these people have that they've gained over the years. You just don't want to cut those on a whim and then expect to get those people back, because you end up not getting them back, and you end up with a big training effort trying to get other people up to speed to fill those shoes.
And then, another thing is depending on the amount of time that the person has been away from the job, there's requirements we have to, depending, like I said, depending on the amount of time, but the individuals, even though they've been doing the job for, X amount of years, would still need to go through a whole training process and drug and alcohol. And it wouldn't be that you could just flip the light switch back on. It would be a slow grow.
Yep. Okay, any other comments about this?
Yeah, Kirk, this is James. Has the union had any response to the potential salary freezes and layoffs?
It's my understanding that the union. Can you mute, please? It's my understanding that the union was made aware of this before it went to the public. I am not privy to any union WMATA interactions, but I was told that they had been made aware of this prior to it going public.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next item here is report from the Accessibility Subcommittee. Alexa?
You pretty much got it. Really, the only thing what we talked about was the changes in policy. We also talked about that there is going to be an upcoming public engagement event at the end of January. I want to say the 31st, but let me know if I've got that wrong. At Central Library for the public to discuss STAR service and STAR policy changes. I don't believe that the detailed information about that has quite gone out yet.
Okay.
Do I
All
have
right.
that right, staff?
I don't think there's anything else.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. Okay, now that you mentioned that event, it reminds me, we'll move on to additional items from committee members and staff. And it reminds me that on January 24th at 12:30 down at the county office building, I think there's going to be a celebration of Art's 25th anniversary. So that's going to be at 12:30 to 1:30. I think Stephen might be on the call here, could tell us more about it. Okay, maybe Stephen's not on here anymore.
I'm here.
Okay, do you want to talk a little bit about that event?
The upcoming 25th anniversary event for Arts kickoff. We're having an event on January 24th. And with this event, we will be having a host of different speakers, including yourself, John, who will be talking about what art has meant to the community over the last 25 years. We'll talk about what we've done from the start to finish, why art was put together in the beginning, in the first place. And, we'll offer a little bit of extra things that you will enjoy, which is live music from a former member of the board for Arlington County. And it will be a great event. I'm sure we would love to have you guys come out and take part of it.
Great. Thank you very much. Look forward to it. Okay, any other items from committee members or staff? If not, our next meeting is going to be on Tuesday, March 12th. So we'll look forward to seeing everybody then. And in the meantime, Pierre, it'd be great if you could email out the presentations we had tonight to everyone so that the people who were not here could see them, and then some of us could also look at them again.
Yes, I will do that.
Great. Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second, James.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you very much.
Good night. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
good night.
you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.